Okay, let's have it right. That was made to be a lot more difficult than it needed to be, but Chelsea traveled to Brentford and emerged 1-0 winners. Let's get into it.
And blue is the colour.
Greetings! Welcome back to Couch Critic with me, Dennis P. And you already know this is another Chelsea match review, but more specifically a tactical synopsis of Chelsea's performance against Brentford. But before we get into all that, I do want you guys to know that we do have a sponsor for the show. They go by the name of Major League Socks. And fellas, if you ever want to walk in the footsteps of greatness, you know what to do. The link is in the description. Okay, so Chelsea traveled to Brentford and emerged 1-0 winners. Goal scorer is Ben Chilwell with a lovely strike just at the top of the 18. Struck it cleanly, beautifully, and it was all we needed to get that 1-0 win. In this match review, we're going to be focusing on Chelsea's back three. We're also going to get into the channels and whether or not Chelsea used them effectively or ineffectively throughout the game. But we're also going to touch on Lukaku and his servicing, since that seems to be a real hot-button topic amongst Chelsea supporters these days. Okay, so Chelsea lined up in a 3-5-2 with three midfielders, and I did predict that in the pre-match. I just figured that we were going to be looking for guys that are in the best form, and that included Ruben Loftus-Cheek for me, Kovacic, and of course Conte coming back in. Just felt like that was the best, most informed lineup that we can come up with. I did think that Callum Hudson-Odoi might start on the right wing-back position. Did not get that right. It ended up being Azpilicueta, which meant that our back three was Trevor Chalobah, Christensen, and a big surprise, Malang Sarr. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I did not anticipate seeing Malang Sarr in that starting lineup, just because I didn't expect that he would have already earned Tuchel's trust. And, to my surprise and to his credit, he held himself up pretty well the whole entire match. Had about like 10 clearances and whatnot, and really didn't look out of place a lot of the times. Like, of course, he had a couple wayward headers and, a couple wayward passes here and there, but on the majority of the game, thought that he was very combative. Played that no-nonsense style of defense. It's like when he had it at his feet, didn't have anywhere to go with it, he just put it out, didn't dwell on it too long, and just kept things ticking over. So I thought he was excellent, to be honest with you guys. Making his first real start in the Premier League against like a real, formidable striker in, Ivan Toney and then that Mbeumo guy. Obviously, both those guys in very good form this year. To see Malang Sarr come in and, perform well and not look rattled at all throughout the game was really impressive. And, this gives Tuchel a lot to consider right now. It gives us a lot of options back there. And like now that we know, we've seen Malang Sarr in the Premier League, and he's shown that he can hold his own. We now have a rotation of center backs that include, Rudiger, who many people think is one of the best in the world right now. We have Thiago Silva, who's obviously fantastic, like world class. All the superlatives that come with him. Christensen, who again today was just a mountain of composure. Never looked out of place, never looked rattled, and again growing into that role fantastically as the deputy to Thiago Silva. I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing from Christensen. But then on the other side, we also have Trevor Chalobah, who's also come in and not played a foot wrong the entire season. Maybe the Aston Villa game was a little bit iffy, but again, for the most part, I do think that like Chalobah has handled himself extremely well this season. And of course, we have our captain, Azpilicueta, who can play the right center back position or the right wing back position. So, like I said, a lot of options there, and it's good. It's a feel good story for the squad. Like knowing that we're using the more of the squad, and we're getting good performances when we have guys come in and out of the lineup. So, Tuchel's got some great options now going forward, and also a squad, more of the squad that he can trust, more of the center backs that he can rotate a little bit more. Maybe not in the bigger matches. You probably want to see Rudiger when he's back to health, back at that left center back position. But in a game like, say, Malmo in, 2-3 weeks from now, before, you might want to see, give Rudiger a rest. And with the way that Malang Sarr has played the last couple matches he's played, you would trust him to go into a game like Malmo and not be rattled or cause us any mistakes. Long may that continue. It gives Tuchel a ton of options, And it's exactly what we need going into this very busy period of the year, leading into the Christmas period where, we're going to be going to the Club World Cup and whatnot. We want to have a lot of healthy bodies and guys that we can trust to put in matches and, deliver performances. Now, overall, I thought that Chelsea had an okay game. Like, the ideas, the tactics that were employed were correct, in my opinion. It was just the execution that was off. Chelsea looked to me that they were looking to exploit the channels, using Werner to run into the channels, Ben Chilwell, and also obviously Lukaku as well. But the execution just wasn't very, very sharp. And, I don't want to sound like I'm picking on anyone in particular, but it just felt like the servicing to Lukaku, the servicing to Werner was quite poor today. And a lot of that was down to the wayward passes from Kovacic. Not just the wayward passes, but the decision making too. I just felt like a lot of the times where he's on the ball and we needed him to make a quick decision under, just to get that pass in the socket of the receiver at the right time so we can break the lines, get into the channels and really, really hurt teams. He was just indecisive on the ball. And when he did release it, he'd always just make a wayward pass and stuff like that. And I think that was where most of Chelsea's attacks would break down. It wasn't because we didn't have any ideas or we were void of ideas. I think that, like I said, I thought Tuchel put together a really good game plan, playing the 3-5-2 and allowing for our midfielders, Conte, Kovacic, and at times Ruben Loftus-Cheek was, again, excellent, in that holding six role, allowing them to, sort of like dictate play and have things tick over. It was just unfortunate that, like, the situations where we wanted to put ourselves into, the final ball was usually off, or that incisive pass just to get us in behind the defense was just not there. And I have some examples of that I want to share with you guys. Just a little different from what I normally do. I don't often pull on videos. I usually just try and talk myself through these things, but I really wanted to illustrate what it is that I've been seeing this match in particular. And maybe I might do it a little bit more going forward just so I can help illustrate what it is. But in this particular game, you did notice that when Chelsea were getting into the second wave of their press, we broke it quite easily, and it was just now that next pass that needed to be incisive in order to break down teams, and we just continually missed that pass. I've isolated this clip with Kovacic, Chilwell, and Werner because it perfectly illustrates what I've been talking about the last little while. Just a failure to recognize situations where we can really hurt teams and, just not leading to anything. Now, if you look here, Chilwell has the ball. He's looking to play a 1-2 with Kovacic, and, Kovacic receives the ball, and he has so many options here. He could either dribble to the right and just play into the path of Kovacic or into the path of Chilwell, who's made an incredible run. He's beaten his man. He had the beating of that guy all game. I think it was Canos or something like that. Anyways, he had the beating of him all game, and we just failed to really, really make that incisive pass to him to get him in behind the defense. And right here is a perfect example of that. All Kovacic has to do here is just shift the ball to his right and then play it into acres of space. Like, look, there's just literally acres of space for Chilwell to run into and get, 1v with the keeper, or look to square it to one of our strikers. And, of course, Kovacic makes the wrong decision, dwells on the ball, the opportunity's gone, and then he just moves it out to, Werner, who's ineffectual on the wing. You want him in the box. So it's just like poor decision making like this kept on rearing its ugly head time and time again in this match, and it was just so frustrating. This one being one of the more frustrating ones, in my opinion, though. And this is the difference between us and teams like City and Liverpool, for instance. Like, when they get these opportunities, like, to really hurt teams in the final third, they don't miss. They have the incisive passers to get in to make that pinpoint pass to break the line and, get 1v with the keeper. I mean, like, City's not exactly scoring boatloads of goals right now, but at the same time, their possession game and their ability to penetrate, like, these low block defenses is incredible. They do it at an alarming rate, and it's because they always play the passes at the right time. They move the ball quickly, and they're pinpoint with their accuracy on where they want the ball delivered. The likes of De Bruyne, obviously they got, like, Grealish now. Foden's really good at it. Bernardo Silva, Mahrez can do it. Like, they have a plethora of guys that are very good on the ball and know how to deliver that final ball. Whereas with Chelsea, we're still struggling to find that one guy. I really do think that maybe somebody like Havertz, if he can get into those positions, maybe the solution here is to play Havertz as a number 8 for Kovacic and keep that front two the same way it is right now with Werner and Lukaku, because I really do think that we need somebody to just supply the bullets. I know a lot of people think that Mason Mount can be that guy for us as well, and maybe he can be from that deeper position. But I just think that, like, when I watch Havertz on the ball, when I see him, like, when he has time on the ball and space to deliver, his passes are right in the socket all the time. And I would like to see more of that. Maybe play him in the 8 in a 3-5-2. Give him an opportunity to be more of the guy that's like the shuttler, the guy that's like playing that Kovacic role right now, box to box, and see if we can get somebody that can like recognize these situations where we get into situations where we're 1v1 or 2v1, or, you know, we're looking to, you know, just make that line breaking pass into the channel and utilize him in that respect. Because as of right now, I don't think we have anyone that's really delivering that telling ball, you know, that decisive ball that splits through the defense and like, you know, just opens them. And once again, here we are as Chelsea supporters, and we have two different factions: the team that supports Lukaku and the team that thinks that he's been really poor. And I'm neither or. I'm a fan of Chelsea and I back all our players, but at the same time, I can also recognize when somebody's not playing effectively and have no problem with calling them out if that is the case. Didn't think that was the case yesterday with Lukaku. I don't think that he had a brilliant game, but I also don't think that he was poor. I also thought that, like, some of the recognition, again, that I was talking about with Kovacic were just so terrible. Like, he just never recognized when Lukaku wanted the ball. And to be honest with you, it seems to be a problem with most of our midfielders. They don't recognize that Lukaku wants the ball early. Lukaku wants the ball to come into him early so he can make the decisions about what he wants to do after the fact. If you dwell on the ball too long and the space starts to like close, the options that Lukaku has at that point are very limited, and he's not the most technically sound striker there is out there anyway. So he needs to have as much opportunities, or he needs to have all of his options available to him in order for him to be effective. That's why you always like to see him when he's running. He's making these runs to bend his line and get in behind the defense. He wants it quick. He'll ask guys, I'll show you some more clips again, like just clips where he's like trying to get in behind the defense. Just that split second when you expect the ball to be delivered, you know, Kovacic dwells on it that little bit longer and the opportunity's gone, or it's a wayward pass. There's a time where Ben Chilwell, same thing. He's does a great job to intercept the ball and break. He's flying down the left flank. Lukaku's running the left channel, and he wants the ball early. You can just tell he's begging for it. He's actually teetering on the side of being offside because he wants that ball early, and unfortunately it just doesn't come in because Ben Chilwell is just like waiting to get into a better area for himself. And when he's doing that, the opportunities and the space for Lukaku is getting smaller and smaller, and lo and behold, he's offside. But this is happening time and time again. On this clip right here, you can see that, of course, Kovacic gets on the ball. He has he has 2 or 3 opportunities here to like make the pass that is going to break the defense. You can see right here, Lukaku's making a run. He's actually showing him where he wants the ball. He wants it in behind. There's a gap of space there where he can either play the through ball or play it over the top. And he dwells on the ball and then shifts it out to the left and gives it away. You know, this happened time and again in this match. You know, there's another opportunity here. You look at this clip where Lukaku again bends his run perfectly. He's coming inside. I assume that Kovacic recognizes it, but again, this is split seconds. These split seconds that you need to penetrate the team is just not there. Like you see here, Lukaku's making the run, and you can tell. I'm stopping right here. Like you can see right here that this is the opportunity where Kovacic needs to play it right into the feet of Lukaku. The defender in front of Lukaku has his back to him. He doesn't even know what's happening behind him. And you can see that Lukaku has the beating of his man already. All he has to do is place that ball perfectly in the socket. If the defender that has his back to him right now tries to recover, he's getting spun. He's basically in a position to get spun. So Lukaku's in on his left foot, and you know what he does in those situations, you know? It's just a failure to recognize when our striker is in the prime position to hurt teams, you know what I mean? Like, all game long, Brentford played a relatively high line. There was space in behind for Lukaku. There's space in the behind for Werner, and they both had the beating of their defenders. There's a couple times where, you know, Werner was getting in behind, and unfortunately the passes just did not have the proper weight on them or were overhit. And, you know, we were unable to capitalize on those opportunities. But for the majority of the opportunities that you see that I'm trying to present to you today, these are just the gilt edge opportunities that if we get that pass right, if Kovacic makes the pass right, if, you know, in Chilwell's case, if Chilwell releases the ball at the right time, we're in and we have an opportunity to score. You know, what we're seeing right now from Chelsea is we're not creating a lot of chances, and it's not because we're not getting in good positions, like our strikers aren't getting in good positions. I think it's just the recognition to when to release the ball, when we want to time that pass is just off. You can attribute that to a lot of things. Obviously, there's an unfamiliarity on this end of the side right now. We're still trying to adjust to Lukaku when he wants the ball, how he's making his runs, and we're just not seeing that same sort of like, okay, he needs the ball now recognition, and it's hurting us because if I'm not mistaken, if the expected goals count, I think it was like maybe close to 2 for Brentford and under 0.3 for Chelsea. And that's basically down to the fact that we're not getting in the ball into those dangerous areas, making those, you know, line breaking passes and, you know, basically just killing them in the channels. I really did think that that was the right game plan for today. I really did think that that was the tactic that would have worked to perfection if some of our passes were timed better and if some of our, you know, the weight of passes were more correct. But unfortunately, we didn't have that today, and we still emerged winners. So, you know, I guess there's something that we can hang our hat on there. But let's not get it twisted, man. The opportunities to get in behind were not just presented to the likes of Werner and Lukaku. Well, like, here's another clip right here. Lukaku's on the ball, and, you know, he has options all over the place. But the best option, if you look here, is the option to Ben Chilwell. He's looking right at him, for God's sakes. He could play a through ball anywhere in space there, and Ben Chilwell's in. Like I said, he's at the beating of this Canuels guy all game. And all you want him to do is just knock it into space. Either knock it over the top and have Ben Chilwell run on top, run over it, run onto it, or you play that through ball into the acres of space that has been made available to you right now. Any of those options would have been better than the decision that he took to play it out wide to Azpilicueta, and the move dies there, you know? These are the recognitions that we're just not seeing yet. Like, in teams, like I said, teams that really know how to like attack with real impetus, see these opportunities and take advantage of them. And this is where we need to improve as a team immensely. But I do think I'm going to wrap it up there. Chelsea emerged 1-0 winners in the West London derby against Brentford. Man, Ben Chilwell, this guy's on a run right now. What is it, 3-3 for club and country? And what a goal. He was my man of the match. I'm sure I didn't mention that, but he was my man of the match. And yes, there is a strong shout for Mendy, just with his incredible saves to preserve all 3 points. But for me, it was Ben Chilwell that got us 3 points. And if you want to look at the math, I'd say Edu just basically saved us 2. It's kind of a weird way to look at it because, like, they're both very responsible for keeping us with all 3 points, but at the same time, I just felt like that Ben Chilwell had a little bit more throughout the match. He was probably our best. He was just thinking the game the right way the whole way. I felt like he was making those runs in behind that were sometimes getting recognized, sometimes not, and he was just like really threatening throughout the match. And I just felt like everything that the game was asking for from him, he was delivering. So I gave him man of the match, but no disrespect to Mendy. I really think he was very strong. And it's like a knife's edge for man of the match this week for me. And I don't even want to hear this anymore. Let's just done the talk from now. All right, I don't even want to hear it. Like, Edu Mendy is a world-class keeper. No questions about it. He's made some incredible saves through his time over just over a year with Chelsea, and this goes unnoticed because, you know, he's at Chelsea. We don't necessarily give up a lot of high-danger opportunities, but when we do, and we did give up a few against Brentford yesterday, he's been incredible at keeping them out. But yeah, we do have the midweek coming up now. We have Malmo, and that is a vital game, not because I think that they're going to be a strong opponent, but because we cannot afford to have any slip-ups in that match. We need to go in there and assert our dominance from minute 1 to minute 90. And Tuchel has a lot of options available right now. He has guys coming back from injuries, the Reece James, who I think is so important to our attack on the right side right now, because we're just not getting as much as like much of our attack today was yesterday was right-sided. I don't think that we had one threatening move on that side, just because you know, that right side with Abramovic, Conte, and I guess Werner trying to come in all the time. We just had nothing out there, and you know, the likes of Reece James would be a welcome addition to that particular flank, because he likes to get forward, he likes to put in those crosses, and he's just more of a presence out there, you know, attacking wise. And I think that's what we need right now. We need more of an attacking presence on that right flank, just somebody that can really give us some decent service from out there. Yeah, but that's an important game, and like I said, I think that Tuchel has a lot of options. Like MonstarCFC came into this game and gave us something to think about. He's clearly, you know, won the trust of the manager. The 2 performances against Aston Villa and now this one against Brentford. Does he get the opportunity to kick on again and play against Malmo or maybe Norwich on the weekend? Who knows? But as it is right now, he's building confidence, and let's hope that continues. Haven't really spoken about Ruben Loftus-Cheek today in the lone holder. He was fantastic, just fantastic. Dribbles, strength, power. The only thing that's missing right now is the fact that, and I guess it's just positional, because he wasn't really playing as an 8. It was just basically dictating the tempo, and then also making sure that he's making those splitting passes to get our strikers in behind the defense. But other than that, as a number 6, I thought he was very good. He was incredible at like protecting the ball, the ball from the man, and also you know, just dribbling past guys, and you know, making sure that he beat the press to get us into that second wave, first wave, second wave, third wave, and you know, turn with power and pace. So let's hope that this is like, he's showing me basically that he's a complete midfielder. You know, a guy that can play 6, 8, 10 shadow striker. You know, so long may that continue. I'm looking at him right now, and I'm loving what I'm seeing, and I know that a lot of the fan base is feeling the same way I am, seeing like one of our homegrown players, you know, battle through injuries and now look like he's almost back to his best. The only thing that we're missing right now is those goals that he was giving us before, but hopefully that comes sometime soon. But you know what to do, guys. I'm going to end it right here. Keep the blue flag flying high, and up the Chelsea. Peace.